Hi guys, George here from Zero Peer Productions, and today I'm doing something that I don't do often, but am trying to do more of. A discussion video. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the Elder Scrolls Online, better known as ESO by a lot of players. Lately I've been having a lot of people ask me about the game, if I would recommend it for them, and if I think it's worth getting. I'm hoping that with this video I can answer some of those questions for a lot of people, and give an idea of if it's the right game for you. For a little bit of background, while I'm an avid player of ESO and love the game, I am not an expert on it, not in the slightest. I'm somewhere in between a casual player and a hardcore one, but hey, I think there's an audience for that, and I really love streaming it. So, while I know quite a bit about the game, I'm not the person to go to if you want character builds, recommended item sets, veteran dungeon guides, anything like that. But I will make some suggestions for content creators who do cover that kind of stuff later in the video. Elder Scrolls Online is an MMORPG from ZeniMax Online Studios, and it just recently celebrated its 5th anniversary. The game is known for having a little bit of a rocky start, and when I see people who don't play talk about the game, it's something that I often see mentioned. You know, the same way that we think about No Man's Sky when it first came out, and that's something I'm never going to forget. Now, I can't speak personally about how Elder Scrolls Online was at launch. I had played all of the open and closed betas for ESO prior to its launch, but being a broke college kid at the time, I could not justify spending $15 a month on an MMO subscription. Instead, I wound up picking up a copy a couple years later when ZeniMax Online moved to a free play model. You still had to buy a copy of the game, but there was no required subscription. Around this time, a lot of things changed in the game to make it more accessible to new players. New content was constantly rolling out, and updates such as 1 Tamriel removed level requirements for quests and zones, making it easier to play with friends and experience quests without having to grind for days and days just to hit the required level for your next main quest. Right now, there is a lot of content in ESO. The game has several story DLCs set in new locales, numerous dungeon DLC packs, as well as 2 full expansions, Morrowind and Somerset. Not to mention that now until May 9th, there is a 5-week-long in-game event celebrating the game's anniversary, and the 3rd expansion, Elsewhere, launches this spring, and I had a chance to play it at the Bethesda Game Days event in Boston. The expansion is part of the Season of the Dragon, a year-long story in ESO being told over the course of several content drops. The Elsewhere expansion will take you to Northern Elsewhere and deal with you helping the Khajiit fight against the recently unleashed dragons, as well as fight for their homeland against a usurper queen. What a lot of people are really excited about with Elsewhere's release is the new character class being added, the Necromancer. Necromancers have been a common enemy across ESO now, but until now we've only had a sorcerer class with some summoning abilities, but not a full set of necromantic skills. I had a chance to play a fully leveled Necromancer at the Bethesda event and had a lot of fun with it. The spells and abilities all felt really fun, and they're building the class so that you can play it as any role, DPS, tank, or healer, which is the main goal they have for each class in ESO anyway. Some of the different spells and abilities really highlight this, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to see how different people build out the class. I just played a basic Magicka-based DPS while I was there, but I know that they are changing some of the skill morphs so that you can easily do a stamina-based DPS character as well. I know, stamina-based for a mage class might sound a little weird, but the whole point is to let players build their characters in whatever way they want, which makes for a lot of fun and a lot of cool combinations that you can tailor-make to your playstyle. The thing that I like about Elder Scrolls Online is that it has something for almost everyone. You can play it solo, you can play it with a group, there's crafting, house decorating, you name it. For the first couple years I played, I really didn't play with anyone else. I almost played it the same way I would a single-player Elder Scrolls game. When I talked to the devs last month, they said that you can play about 90% of the game that way, and just do whatever you want. Build your character however you want. You really don't need to think about a proper MMO-type build for your character until you're thinking about doing dungeons or trials, and at that point you're branching out from solo-style content anyway. I played up until level 50 just doing my own thing and building out a character the same way that I might while playing Skyrim. Once I started running dungeons with viewers, I started looking into how I should respec my character, and respeccing your character in ESO is pretty easy and relatively cheap in terms of gold. This is really the first MMO that I've been super invested in. I've never really been an MMO guy per se. The only other MMOs that I have a decent amount of time in are Guild Wars 2 and Star Wars The Old Republic. With Guild Wars 2, I played for a couple of years, hit max level, did some events, finished the main story, but still played it pretty casually. With The Old Republic, I just picked it up every now and then, and I'm not even anywhere close to finishing my class story at all. Frankly, I got into ESO not because it was an MMO, but because it was an Elder Scrolls game, and I find a lot of people get into it for that reason. We don't have Elder Scrolls 6 coming out soon, or any other big games in the series really. ESO was a chance to explore a lot of Tamriel, see locations and provinces that we haven't had in any of the 3D games, play a lot of quests, and do it with friends. I really doubt that I'll ever be a hardcore player in ESO, I just don't think that's me. But even then, there's still a lot for me to do day in and day out. Frankly, I think it's impossible to complete all of the daily quests and assignments available to you in a single day, unless of course you play for 24 hours straight. Maybe. Like I said, ESO is very approachable in terms of an MMO, and it's unique for that reason. You can play it however you want, and you don't have to play with other people if you don't want to. I'm admittedly a little bit antisocial when it comes to gaming at times. I have a lot of days where I don't even want anyone to look at me. It's nothing personal, that's just me. You can get the base game and the Morrowind expansion for $20, and that has enough content to last you for a long time. With Elsewhere releasing soon, there's a lot of new players and a lot of people who are getting back into the game. Now is a really good time to get into ESO. It's one of the few games that I play in my downtime right now. If you have more questions about the game or just want to see more of it before making a decision, I recommend stopping by my streams. I stream a lot of Elder Scrolls Online right now. I almost always play with viewers, and I'm happy to answer any questions that I can. If you're looking for more hardcore content creators who can give tips in regards to that side of the game, there are some really great ones. I highly recommend both Allcast and Fextralife, as well as Ninja614 and T the Khajiit. The streaming community for ESO is really great. I'm constantly finding new streamers to watch. But just don't forget about me, okay? I stream too. ESO Elsewhere will be releasing on PC and Mac on May 20th and on consoles on June 4th. I'll be streaming a lot of Elsewhere once it releases in May, so make sure to stop by my Twitch channel then. It'll be a lot of fun, and this is a game that I love to share with my viewers. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.